magic happening. Oh, should be quiet because I'm behind the mic. Oh. Okay. Am I outputting? Apparently not. Am I here? Hey, I might be transmitting. I know I'm just standing in front of the camera if anybody's watching this in some future world, but it's Saturday morning, and here I am. Am I in 1080p? All right. This is what kind of stream quality we're looking at right now. I haven't set anything up. I'm by myself. Twigs is at work. I just had some breakfast. And as you can see, I have a large mess happening. Now I'm going to assume that nobody's going to be on here. I was just like, you know, it's reality TV time. So anyway, I'm trying to get my act together here. Let's move this over. There might be a little more lag on the camera than I'm used to. So, because I'm trying to stream in 1080, because that'd be cool, right? Oh God. Okay. Let me get this over here. And I have no idea what is the camera seeing right now. I don't know. All right. I wonder if my microphone's working. I think I lost my coffee. As you can see, there's a big mess happening. I'm quarrying foam. That's my new thing. So yeah, there's your good old Drunkens and Dragons camera angle that you've learned to love and hate. It's Saturday morning. It's like, what time is it? It's like 10 o'clock? Sure. It's going to be a nice day. I don't care because my friend's coming over to play that D&D tonight. And I got a bunch of shit to do. So, oh God, Cyrus, what up, dude? Yeah, it's just like real life, right? You're the dude that shows up. So is this working? Are you seeing me in 1080? This is mainly an experiment. Is it like way better camera quality? It should be. I got a new encoder and I sculpted some styrofoam and got a new encoder all in the same morning. That's living large right there. And I need like, so if I'm going to get up and walk away and come back, it's because I'm getting paper towels or a cup of coffee or I forgot where my Zacto is or any number of ridiculous reasons because I'm so discombobulated right now. Looks like 1080p. Hey, great. Because, you know, before my streaming quality was just utterly dismal. It was all blurry. And you know, streaming quality is very important when you're whatever the hell it is I'm doing. All right. Enough gibberish. Time to get serious. You're terrible. And why are there 15 people in here? There should be 0 people in here. You should be outside throwing a beach ball at a child or something. I don't know what you do on a sunny day. Okay. Anyway, it just struck me like, why does everything always have to be like on schedules and like, I am not getting paid for doing this YouTube crap. Why does it always have to be all predictable and like by the rules and all this shit? And I realized it doesn't. Screw that. So I was sitting here working on finishing some craft projects for tonight. And it actually struck me, this is probably the most common state of existence for the people that watch my channel. Which is like, they have no idea what they're doing, how they're going to pull the adventure together. They know some of the details, but they're thinking to themselves, oh my God, I've done it again. Everyone's excited for something that may or may not be fully realized already. And I've got to deliver. And because DMs are generally overachievers. And so then you're like, well, shit, I'm definitely going to need some miniature crates. A realization that dawns on creative people all too often. I'm going to need crates. So anyways, the thought was, forget preparation, forget drinking, forget all the sort of trappings of a so-called TV show. And just say, hey, you guys, it's Saturday morning. Finished another awesome work week. And here's what I'm doing with my life right now. I don't have any sublime topics to talk about. I don't know how to play D&D like a big old badass. All I know is that I'm not done with the crafting projects I wanted to get done. So, crafting projects. So I'm working on them. And I'm doing it live because I want some company. Who's getting a little too quiet. Well, I guess live doesn't really count as company. It's a bit of a one-way communicato. Yeah, I don't know. There's probably some people. What's that? Spoilers. Yeah, Cyrus, if you don't want spoilers. There's not really spoilers here. I mean, you know that I've been working on boats. You know there's probably going to... Honestly, spoilers aren't a big deal to me. It's like, if as a DM you're relying on the element of surprise to like make your story awesome, that's probably a bad sign. Nobody's going to be like, what? He's an elf, not an orc? Oh my God. You know. So I have some black paint done on these little guys, but I gotta wait, and I don't want to wait. I gotta wait for it to dry. So in the meantime, whoop, I have barrels to make. Gotta make some barrels. So this is about as exciting as YouTube gets. You could be watching footage of Jessica Negri in a Legend of Zelda bra, or you could be watching me sit here quarrying styrofoam. I don't know if you guys do this, but this is crazy. I do it a lot. It's like this quarrying thing. It's kind of, you take a big block of styro and you quarry chunks out of it like an Italian marble smith. So you just do like a top cut, a side cut, and then go along the bottom like that. And it should snap right out, and you get kind of like a raw chunk like that. Oh yeah, man, everybody's dying to see what your raw styrofoam chunk looks like. So I don't know, honestly, what the purpose of this stream is. Maybe I just wanted to, I was already sitting here talking to myself, so I figured let's make it a tiny bit less awkward by turning on my stupid webcam. I was also curious if I could get the higher rate bit streaming to work. And they are definitely setting computers up better than they used to, like 5 years ago. It's a little easier to be dumb and do things. And I only say such a mean thing because I am not the sharpest Zacto in the drawer, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so I'm not really here to try to fill in a bunch of blank space talking. I'm just crafting, man. And I have my book going, and I was trying to figure out exactly how all this is going to play out. And that might be a little bit of a spoiler. If Cyrus, if anybody else is, I doubt it. But basically what happened is like, this is another thing, man. I was realizing I'm probably in a boat that a bunch of people are in. In a boat. See what I did there? that a bunch of people are in on Saturday morning. It's like, by the way, I'm cutting a rectangle into a barrel shape, if you're wondering what I'm doing. And if you are wondering what I'm doing, you must be even more bored than I am. But it's Saturday morning, and like as of, say, Thursday, it was hard to tell if we were even going to get together and play. You know, everybody's got shit going on. Everyone has jobs and cool things in their lives. So it's always hard to get 5 adults to gather around the table 4 or 5 hours. But anyways, we went from I'm not so sure we're going to play all the way full circle to my man Boot Myron, local Durgar, and of course Twigs, the world healing druid, both just like telling me like, oh, I'm super stoked to play. Let's get back on that table. And then you're like, as the dungeon master, man, you got to come through. So there's my barrel. It looks a little more like a mango than a barrel. So I was gonna try to do little barrel, little thingies. Yeah, little thingies. Boy, this is freaking Mensa right here. Oh, what is this? There's things happening? I see what you're saying. I think maybe confusing surprise with realization. Yeah, that's why there are some things that I don't want to just tell you, obviously, since you're a player. But barrels have 2 little bands around them, right? So what I was saying is, like, it's Saturday morning, you're the dungeon master, your players are excited, and you realize, man, I need to come through for these people, and it's got to be dope. So usually it means 2 terrifying realizations. One, you've got the easy part, in my opinion. You got to get your crafting done. So you know that you didn't do XYZ to finish up XYZ project, right? So you know that you want to make blah-de-blah and you want to make blah-de-blah. So you just need to get your ass in gear. Like, get your coffee, get your paint plate out, and just start working. Now, the other one, which I don't know about y'all, but I think is the harder one, is you got to get your adventure done. And you need mechanics that are fun. You need details. So if you get detail hungry players, who are like, what's the history of this character? Or, will this character do X, Y, Z? What's behind door number 3? Then you as the DM, you know what's behind door number 3, and you're not like faking it. Because we all know that faking it as a DM is not cool. I know everybody talks about how cool improv is as a DM, but don't fake it. All right, so there, I'm getting there. This 1 freaking barrel. I'll make like 4. Yard work. It's not Tuesday. Yeah, hey, Draw Off. What's up, dude? That's because, why isn't it Tuesday and everything? I decided I don't care. I'm not even quite sure why I'm streaming. I think I just wanted to try the high bitrate thing, and then I was just like, I had to just put up a stream. It's just me sitting here. I haven't combed my my head hairs, or brushed my mouth teeth. I got some writing done this morning, and that was great. Had my breakfast. Started doing my black paint. For my cargo here, and I was just like, fuck, why not just put up a stream, see what's going on? Like a different continent, oh shit, it looks like a grenade. Oh well, we'll fix that. That shit does happen, but I don't know, man. I think that railroading is undervalued in D&D. I think just cutting players loose to do shit is just... It's like asking the audience to write the music at a concert. Like, it's just... I don't know. Like, the player's role, to me, more so, is to be awesome within the context, not to set the context. Now, are they capable of setting the context? Hell yeah, man. These are your friends. You don't hang out with chumps. But... you don't put that burden on them. You let them think more like they put a quarter into an arcade machine, and now they get to play. All right, I'm going to nub off the tops and bottoms of these so they have a little more of a look of a lid. There we go. This is the first time I've ever streamed where I'm actually like working on a craft project. You know, I think it's because it's sort of a private thing. It's really nice to sit and sort of meditate. All right, I'm going to use a paint marker with my little wire here to create a circular band. Very hard to bend wires into good circles just by doing it freehand with your fingers. Wires are unruly little buggers. There we go. So the idea is to make this little metal band that goes around the... yeah, that worked good. Okay, cool. Tracy Puckett. Hey, how you doing, man? You crafting today over there, Tracy? Out in Ohio. Because I sure as hell am. I imagine there's a Harley ride in store today at some point. It's going to be sunny, but for the moment, no. All right. I don't know if glue is necessary here, but I'm just going to do a couple little tidbits. Just to make sure she stays assembled. There she be. Okay. Get on there. Nice. All right, now I got some excess. I don't want excess. Unless I'm listening to dubstep, I don't want excess. All right. Nice. There we go. See, it's a little barrel, styrene, with a little metal band on it. Oh, wow. What level are your players? Oh, wait. My campaign is 4.5 years old. That is twisted. I know human beings that are younger than that. Okay, there's wire number 1. Let's make a wire number 2. Whoa, I just had a super deja vu with that. I hate those. It's a glitch in the matrix. Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure I have the stuff for the adventure tonight. But the impetus for the craft is oddly synchronous with my area of greatest uncertainty. The adventure, which is trying to incorporate the ship supplies mechanic from A Sundered World. So if you haven't read Sundered World, I guess you're going to miss out on all that. There we go. So go buy that book. This is a dumb way to do things. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's doing stuff the dumb way. There we go. Okay. This is cool. I made a little hatch. So it's like a little hinged hatch so you can go below decks on the ship. Chilicote! 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 Curious you got my message for a road trip to me joining... What the hell are you talking about? That's a thing? That sounds amazing. Farming for a fortnight? Is that a SCA sanctioned event? Okay, time to quarry more foam. I'm going to make a bigger barrel. That one came out a little bit on the small side. I'm Irish. And me barrels are tiny. You've got tiny Irish barrels. You've got little leprechaun barrels. I'm sorry, Irish people. I know there's more to you than leprechauns. Are you a little Irish leprechaun? Would you like some bacon? That was one horrible thing about today. I ran out of bacon. I wanted some bacon on my peanut butter and toast. And I look in the fridge and there was no bacon. But you know, I didn't give up. I didn't cry. Well, I cried a little bit, but I'm still here. I'm still doing it. I think I fucked this one up too. It's too stout. So let's try More like a Warcraft proportions on this one. That's a bit stoot. That's stoot. Your barrel is stoot. That's short and stoot. That's a stoot barrel. But this really makes the rest of my videos look like all thought out and content rich. Am I like even in sight? I'm all hunched over like Schmeagol over here. I got my orange ball of pain in front of me. It's weird. Okay, this one might work out a little bit. It's too stooped, but other than that, it's kind of cool. So I'm gonna try to get the boards to read a little better. That's one thing about crafting. Maybe it's why I haven't been doing like a live video of crafting. It's because it's very discovery oriented, at least the way I do things. So it's hard to know if you're going to start like a live stream and then like nail it. I mean, if you're Scotty and it's just like all day, every day, you be crafting, you know, he could probably just go live and do it. But hey, actually, there's a glove to throw down. Yo, DM Scotty, do a live crafting show, will you? No editing. No time lapses. I mean, you guys are probably wanting to see... No, who am I even talking to? Freaking Cyrus? Come on. Cyrus probably wants... Or Draw-Off, he wants to see a close-up. I don't know, I'm not even looking at the chat thing, honestly. Saturday morning is its own kind of drunk, you know? It's like you kind of just don't have too many fucks built up to give. By the way, if you guys are watching with your kids, sorry about the bad language. I have no one to blame but myself. The English language has been utterly butchered, and I am a party to the crime. Let's party on the crime, dude. Hey, what are you doing tonight? Partying on the crime, bruh. Alright, so this is more like a little, a sort of a little coffee barrel or something. It's not like your conventional sort of beer barrel. I don't know what I'm doing. Here, we'll put a little spigot on it. I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is that I want there to be little supply thingies on my boat. And I did make little stacks of cannonballs. Those are fun. Well, that didn't work too good, did it? Jeez. All right. Whenever I'm using these nippers to cut my skewers, these thinking things always split. And that is something worth watching live on YouTube. There we go. There's a little spigot. Boop. All right. I've also been doing a fun trick, which is I take this clay sculpting tool here. I got this from Black Magic, but you just go in and you do wood grain. And man, is it convincing when you do the dry brush. It's really surprising how well it works. So good on you there, Pili Pow. Yep, there we go. It's wood now. What is this? Early time live streaming? Dear Lord, the humanity. That's right, Onyx. I am up in this. I'm just sitting around crafting and thinking about how to get my encounters ready for tonight. There's no... You know, like one of my great principles of good dungeon mastering and good living in general. Great God, you sound like a 70-year-old man telling everybody how to be. Anyway, is absolute transparency. Be totally honest. If there's something you're doing that you don't want people to know about, you probably shouldn't be doing it. And this, my friends, is what real dungeon mastering is all about. Oh my God, that's so bad. It's about whatever the fuck you want it to be about. Well, for me at the moment, it's about getting these little craft projects done and figuring out some of the details of the NPCs that the characters will probably want to talk to or something tonight. Although our group, We just blow right through that kind of stuff. We don't really get into the... I walk up to him and ask him about his butt. And then we role play for a while. And like, no, we don't really do a lot of that. Alright, making another metal band. Let's make a metal band! We'll call it Los Dados. Let's make a metal band, dude. Los Dados. Oportunidad de ganar. Oh man, I made that way too big because I never measure anything. I don't know about you guys, but I hate measuring things. Los Dados. Oportunidad de ganar. Wow, okay, look at me. Let the dwarves out of the barrels. Cheers from British Columbia. Are you implying you're not a 70-year-old man? Please don't cut yourself. Oh my God. Chile. Salud. Man, that's crazy. The southern hemisphere, huh? It's muy loco. Do people in Chile speak Spanish or Portuguese? Or they speak some kind of strange Incan Pictish. That's Chile, right? No, that's Peru. Chile is the big daddy South American country. Well, I mean, not as big as Venezuela. Hey, look at this. That is just not a barrel. I don't know what world you're from where that's a barrel, but that is not a barrel. Okay, back to the quarry for barrel number 333. This one I don't want to make so stewed. The last one was too stewed. That was sharp and it was stewed. Why are you so short and stewed? See, like, there's the piece I'm quarrying right there. So see, it'll just snap out and just gives you a block, just like an Italian marble man. So, Cyrus, you have to put up with my ass all night. I would go away if I were you. I would go away and I would live your life. Alright, same thing. I am now cutting. I know you care. Cutting a sort of semi-cubic block into a poorly done cylinder. I'm not doing it poorly on purpose. It's just what's happening. There you go. So it kind of makes a little sort of can shape. Then I'm going to nub off the corners. And this is going to be a good one. I got it now. Thank God. He can be taught. Like that little kid that disappears in the grotto on the orphanage. Julio or whatever his name is. I can't remember. Dante. Andagio. I think Andagio is like a... It's like after the cantabile, there's an Andagio. Andagio forte. The part of the song where the beat is dropping. Alright. Boom! I be cutting. So each one I'm cutting like a little trench. And the trench is where the metal band lives that holds the wee little barrel boards together. And I am doing a terrible job of it. There we go. What are you guys doing? My stories get really, really dark. Oh, man. We don't do it that way. Well, I mean, we have dark moments. That's for damn sure. Like, we had a mind flayer tear poor Milo's face off. But that's not like psychological darkness. That's just comical slapstick horror. Psychological darkness does not fit our party. Also, I have very little tolerance of fantasizing about doing evil things. F that. Fantasize about doing heroic things. And sing this song, Los Dados. Oportunidad de ganar. Dados. Hey. Alright. Here is this piece. Now, I'm going to do the boards. The boards are the most boring, boarding part. You have to cut all these teeny trenches to delineate the boards. It's just like, no, I don't know efficient ways to do things. Scotty'd be done and in his yard tanning by now. Or maybe he'd be working in his journal trying to get the combat mechanics figured out. What are the hit points for a frozen skeleton? 24. Alright. Planks are cut. Time to do... There we go. That's a little better. Time to do the... wait, I need more cuts. That's live right there. This is not planned. You got to comb your head hairs and brush your mouth teeth. Excuse me. You guys are just chatting about whatever the fuck. So when the live streams go on the site, does the chat feed included for people watching it later? Or do they miss all that? Perma-blindness. Grief. Psychotic DMs. Running rampant. I know what's going to happen is like this stream's going to go up on the site and it was be like, hey, you didn't say there's going to be a stream. No, I did not. I am a human being who must be allowed to improvise and change my routine. Otherwise it becomes a prison. That's also why I haven't been doing all that hard work editing the show. Is like when you have a day job and like a small family, good grief, it's a lot of work. Last year was a crazy year though. 2015 was like the year of everything. Okay, metal band going on. Glue being squirted. There we go. We're living life to the fullest. The Dungeon Master way. Oh, I cut my metal thing way too short. Well, way too meaning like a quarter of an inch. It's way too short. I ruined it. Suits me. I can have a proper drink without being silly o'clock. Score. Oh, dude. If I start drinking right now, I will be a dead person by the time anything matters. I mean, I've drank in the morning before, but on D&D day? D&D day. They made a Dungeons & Dragons super soldier. And then cut him loose on a local high school. D&D day. Watch as countless innocent youth are corrupted by Satan-worshipping D&D players, hell-bent on destruction. All right, here we go. Nice. Bit of a patch job there, but it kind of added some personality. Sure. You just keep telling yourself that. All right, here we go. Los Dados. I have to put my hand over this dang nipper when I use it to keep things from flying. But I'm always worried, like, my finger's in there and I don't know it. And then boom. Frodo of the 9 fingers, king of the wild frontier. That's not a movie. Hankrin, what's your day job, if you don't mind telling us? Tekadix. My day job is I am a writer, concept artist, and game designer at Carbon Games over in Bellevue, Washington. And it's awesome. All right, come on. Get, ah! I'm always gluing myself to everything. Okay, I have done better things in life, but that's gonna cut it. Look at that little guy. Little metal bands on him. I don't really know if it looks like a barrel per se, but it does look like an object. That is definitely an object, Captain. I'm gonna put a little spigot on this one like an oil barrel too. So stay tuned. You'll see Hankrin Vernale put a little thing on a thing with some glue. It's gonna be crazy. Alright, I'm gonna cut this little guy out of wood. Little square guy. It's just a tiny little piece of wood. You know, honestly, you could do a spigot of this size with a blob of glue. Alright. Which is my better stand-up side? Probably that one. Boop! That was just a wee spectacle. Oh! Oh, no, I read that wrong. Hankering for a bit. Bye, booze. Head out. Chuck, pool, burgers. Sounds great, dude. Living life to the fullest. There's my little teeny spigot on my barrel. All right, that's 3 down. I was going to do 4, and then I was going to do some lumber piles. Lumber pile! I love you! One more barrel, huh? What could be different? I'll just do a rerun. Everything in life doesn't have to be a new adventure. Sometimes you can bite your own butt. Oh, dados. Oportunidad de ganar. Yeah, man, I want to try that too, Cyrus. Get that book. Get that book with all that money you got laying around. I seen your house. It covered in bills, B. Ooh. Got that Lambo parked out front. Got a Dodge Viper you'd use just to go to the mailbox. Got that quad with the Hello Kitty paint job. All right, how am I? That's not astute enough. Oh, what is happening to my brain? Let me just put a camera on the internet and then I'll sit here and act like an idiot for an hour. Because that's important in the modern economy. Ooh, one cool thing. The owner of my favorite tap room where I drink all my beer, do a lot of my dungeon mastering as well as far as writing, is reading my book. And it's awesome because he's just like, I never read fantasy. But he's digging on it. Seems to be liking it. He likes Vald, the Silver Storm. All right, this is going to be another astute barrel. Probably filled with monkey innards. Ugh. We've got an entire barrel of monkey innards, sir. What should we do with it? Put it on your butt! What if I did like some vertical board stuff? Nah, that sucks. The problem is, I think I'm out of wire. So this is another like super real moment here that DMs go through everywhere. Is like, I was going to do a thing, but I only have so much trash that I've harvested. Might run out of trash pretty soon. See, this one's all wrinkled up. I can't use that. I've got standards to uphold. Good day, Hank. Hey, Cedric Antones. Buenos dias. Y buenos noches y los dados. Oportunidad de ganar. Barachos y dragones. Bienvenidos. I have no idea if Cedric Antunes speaks Spanish or even cares that I'm speaking it so badly. This is not a paperclip. It's one of these like rubber-coated twisty ties, which I think are totally awesome. I mean, that's what I think. All right. God. I have definitely got a case of the stupids today. I don't know why. I think it's just one of those Saturdays where you have absolutely nothing planned, and you like it that way. And you just wake up feeling like a goof. You know, it's like where you're sort of running around in your slippers and your robe doing the chicken dance. One of those days. I know people have those besides me. I can't be the only one. You're making like T-Rex arms before you're even like done pooping. You got the dumbs. Okay, I'm making like a center barrel one here, which is what the Brazilians would call la adrenalina. Muy excitante. I'm sorry for all your Spanish speakers, by the way. I'm probably just butchering Spanish utterly, but I don't care. Spanish has no feelings. It's just an abstract association of symbolic word noises. Alright, here's my little lid. It's kind of cool. Now I need the board seams. Riveting television, ladies and gentlemen. Riveting television. So, I don't know how far I am into the stream. Gonna shoot. Thanks for the stream in the chat. May pop back, peace. That's how chill we keep it around here, man. Spanish is a langue bueno, my man. So you do speak it. Cedric Antunes. Bienvenidos. Man, I loved Spain. What a friggin' great place. Good folks. Decent food. I wouldn't call the food there amazing. Paella was great, but like, yeah, it's not that great. The overall food, I mean. Paella is amazing. Could eat paella like every other day. Not as much as sushi. I could eat sushi almost every day, but paella is pretty damn good. Paella is bueno. Alright. Get this metal band worked up. Another cool thing about these plastic coated twist ties is they will naturally repel acrylic paint. So even before you paint them silver, they'll keep their silvery qualities. And that's a time saver, and that's a benefit to your garden. This shit's too short, I bet. Some dados right here. Some oportunidad de ganar. There you go. Clean off your extra glue. Do terribly at it. Get things glued to yourself. And you are rolling the Hanker Inferno. What are we making? I'm making a cargo for my ships here, which I think are off camera, and that's just sad. Here, this is generally against practice, but this isn't the Oculus. We can move the camera here. Here we go. And let's bring it down. Ooh. I have several seconds of lag, so I don't really see how good my stuff is for a few moments. But that's how this stream is. This stream is all made up and improvised. Now I'm doing the wood grain. Woo. And then I'm going to do the little spigot because that has been looking good. Los dados. It's an oportunidad de ganar. Alrighty. Whoop. There we go. See that little dude? Oh, look, you're right there now. That's crazy. Hey, yo. God. I don't know why I'm just acting so dumb today. It's really weird. Not like every other day where I'm super normal and respectable. No, today is different. Okay, that is all. Oh, wait, no, I wanted to do piles of timber. And then I'm done, and I'm going to go back to paint mode. And maybe I'll bring these guys on camera, too, so you guys check them out. In case you're bored, which you should be. If you're not bored, you are weird. So the idea with these next ones here is I wanted it to feel like they can repair the ship. With these sort of piles of lumber that are on board. So the idea was to make the lumber pile. Ah, que bueno. So I don't need a lot of precision here. I just want it to look like they have a bunch of 2x4s basically laying around. So I'm just going to make several little planks. If you'll notice too, I do not worry about cleanliness in my craft space. I just let the mess happen because otherwise creating is not fun. When you have to keep your space clean while you create, it's just, that's not fun for me. If there are people out there who can stay tidy while creating, I bet that is a superpower, man. All organized and shit. It'd be amazing. All right, there we go. So see, it's just like they got all these little 2x4s here. Yeah, you see that? Sure, why not? It's like, go back to the timber pile and retrieve a astute board. Get a astute one. This is the most dangerous cut of them all. The lengthwise popsicle cut with your fingers like a millionth of an inch from the blade. And you got to put like a hell of force on it too, so you would just go right through your freaking finger. It's a scary one. I'm scared. Because I'm from Porto. You guys are all nuts. There's actually 35 people stone cold kicking it right now. Stone cold chilling. All right, there is my lumber pile. Nothing to write a letter to mom about. But you should write a letter to your mom because that would be really cool. I'm going to do a base plank that I'll just give it a little bit of a nice surface to sit on. We don't want our lumber to be uncomfortable. Alright, then I'm just going to start loading up ye old glue. Like how? And let's start gluing. So this is cool because you might actually be able to see with the 1080 streaming. The camera's right friggin' dar. Like, we got factors coming together right now. We got straight up factors, yo. Thanks again, Cyrus, for the sick-ass glue gun, dude. I love this thing. You know me, my brother. You know me well. You know my needs. You know I'm astute. I'm astute, gentleman. That's not fat, that's astute. Oh, shit. Glue stick needed. Boop. Still a little wiggly from the 3 cups of coffee. Actually, that makes me want another one. Los dados. So you guys can see I'm doing this completely off the map of sanity here. I'm whatevering this mofo. I'm just whatevering this bad boy. So the idea is to get just enough disorder in the pile where it's not just a, you know, sticks just glued together. It's got a little bit of texture to it. Now my top plank carries a great deal of the storytelling weight, so it needs to be just so. So another scary finger slicing cut here. So what I mean by story is like these are planks. So one thing you can do to sell planks is like cut those teeny little tip notches and it will imply scale. It's just like putting grain on things because it can get this sort of implied feeling of scale. Boop. There's the cherry on the top. There's my pile of timbers that's going to wait to paint. And I think I'm done. I also made this gangplank earlier. This is pretty cool. It's just one, you know, for walking the plank. So you just have these two little metal bands on a plank. It just kind of sits on the deck of the ship. Those are the kinds of things I get excited about. All right, so our black is about dry. That's awesome. So we can do our sponge and dry brushing. But first, I have to black paint these. Cedric, we haven't done it quite yet. We're gonna tonight. Well, as long as we can get through the other content tonight. The plan is to be ready for some cool ship action tonight. So I don't know about y'all, but for me, a huge part of moving into the higher levels in a campaign is getting access to some ship stuff. So you can travel, like in Chrono Trigger. Okay, cool. So I'm ready to paint. I don't need to quarry anymore. Get rid of that. All right, here. And now there's nothing really to learn on this step. This is some basic business. Just get your black. Bloop. Put that out there. And the reason you have to black everything... Oh, wait, there's one thing I didn't do, which is my little engine. I was going to do a reactor, like some kind of elemental displacement reactor. Elemental displacement reactor. So all you're really doing is you're using a relatively watery black on all your pieces, and the reason you want it watery is like it'll seep into everything. It'll go between every little crack, and you don't have to paint all that in there. It'll just fill it up with paint. It will increase dry time, but you will get a very good thorough blacking. Give that man a thorough blacking. Paint him. So I'm having trouble getting down into it. There we go. Okay. And then if you got some really small cavities and it just won't get down in there, you just have your brush on the ready. And then with my teeny little brush, I get in and I get all the little crevices. If the watery paint doesn't penetrate. So there you go. That's my my lumber pile. These are some ambitious painting projects here. I'm painting 5 teeny little things black. Whoop-de-doo. But it's okay. It's just a setup. The sponge and dry brushing is always the exciting part because you get to see all the details come to life on that first pass of dry brushing. That's the exciting time. So I have a wire drying rack right out of screen over there that you can't see. The reason is if you are painting your stuff and you put it on cardboard to dry, it will stick and tear and it will ruin your black paint. So you want something like metal that won't stick to acrylic paint. And then as they dry, you don't lose any of your work. Hey everybody! Oh, Lofi was around? That's cool. Pressure washing. Lofi he doesn't just take showers in the morning. He pressure washes himself. It's like, I am covered in moss. I gotta pressure wash myself. I wish I wouldn't put all this pressure washing on myself. That's like it's overachiever humor. All right, final barrel. Just doing the blackout on it. A thorough blacking. There we go. And already the metal bands are working because they just don't hold acrylic paint. So you already get the look of sort of a black wooden barrel with a metal band on it. All right. So that's the first stage of painting. We've got the lumber pile and the barrels. Now I wanted to finish this little elemental reactor engine here. But first I'm going to grab my coffee. So I'll be right back. Because that's what kind of stream this is. Wow. I think I breathed in some. Ooh, it's getting nice. My coffee got cold, guys. My coffee got cold, so I had to turn that shit on. Okay, what am I doing? Oh, the elemental reactor. All right, sweet. Just got the word from Kevin Cross. What does that mean? Oh, about the stream? Life is pure madness. Cooper, shut up out there. Nobody's attacking. It's like be like a little family walking by with a stroller, and the dog will be like, "Get away from my house!" All right. It's fun to make fun of dogs because they can't fight back. Okay. Back to the styrofoam quarry. Blah. Okay, the idea here is I got this little tea light, and I want to make a reactor. So I want it to be glowy, but I want it to be mechanical, and it's going to be awesome. So I'm just going to make some arbitrary little, what E. Speakman would call greebles. Here it is. A greeble is like a pointless piece of detail that makes things look cool. So I just got my little block of styrene, and I'm just going to make, like, I don't know, capacitors and valve covers and exhaust ports. You know, normal shit. So I'm just going to do little flute cuts. I don't know if you guys are close for this. This is small stuff. A flute cut is you just go along the edge on one axis, and you go in on the side on the same edge, and it will cut a perfect little border that will frame any given side of a polygonal shape. So, like that. That is the fluting. I just posted. It was the best session I've ever had in over a decade. God dang. That's exciting, dude. Well done. Welcome to the fray, man. Welcome to the frizzy. So what made it so awesome? I know how you feel too. It's a great feeling. We had it with the Night of the Crack, man. We had a blast with Night of the Crack. At least I did. I don't know about y'all. Cyrus. I'm gluing things. So this is like a little sort of manifold cover, like you'd find on a Dodge V8. I'll just put it right on here. Oh yeah, this is gonna work great. This area I'm more competent in. Barrels are not easy, man. But little like mechanical greebles, boy, I could do those all day. So again, I'm doing this fluting work. And just like wood grain, the fluting really shines once you get to your dry brush stage, because you got all these extra little edges to catch brighter paint. To dry our tears. Oh, so you did the player elected XP, huh? Nice, dude. That's awesome. Love that mechanic. That was another product of me and Cyrus's design collaboration, which continues to yield tabletop fruit. Well, shit, I can't. Can I glue that there? Yeah, sure, why not? Will this dang thing even work if I put glue on there? I tell you what. That owl done went into his territory. That's what happened. All right, so now I'm going to put... I need something to sort of transmit all the lights. I think I'm just going to do a huge blob of glue here, and then I'm going to put a couple bars that will give some silhouettes in front of the glow. Hey, Muckafin. How you doing, dude? Lofi. All right, so this is my little reactor so far, so I'm going to keep going here. I think you can just kind of start loading this up with glue and still be a cool person. So load up. This is another area where the DM Scotty glue gun is so baller, is that it just puts out a ton of glue. Like just its output per trigger pull is just remarkable. Okay, so there I'm removing the little fakey flame that comes with your average tea light. So I can just do a huge blob of glue. And this blob of glue is going to diffuse the LED light and create the glow that I need. But you guys already knew that. All right. And then if you guys have ever worked with friendly plastic, this is very similar. So you want to kind of use gravity to sculpt it. I hate to leave, but it's Harley time. Peace, beer. You bet your butt it's Harley time. Yahoo! Keep that shiny shit pointing upward, my brethren. Ow! Oh yeah, man, that glue is hot. I just burned the shit out of myself. And I definitely have glue blorching over the switch, which I think is okay. Blorching. I think I blorched in your bathroom, bro. May the critical rolls be with you. Yeah, dude, have a good ride out there, man. It's a nice, nice day for it. But we've been riding all week because we're spoiled this week up here in Washington. The sun actually came out. Always exciting in the Washington. Okay. So while the big blorch of glue dries on my reactor, I am going to get into some dry and sponge brushing on my cargo here. Not sure how close you guys are, but whatever. Are you close enough? Is life good? It won't end soon, will it? I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. This is all I have to do. I need to get into my book here in a little bit and finish up some encounter work, so I might just stay here on the stream. You weren't here at the beginning, Cedric, but basically my setup here is just I'm just kind of letting it all hang out. There's no preparation here. There's no like I made a show for you guys. This is just raw, real shit. This is me getting ready to play D&D tonight. It's a little bit of crafting, a little bit of dungeon mastering, and a whole lot of talking to myself. But you guys know all about that. It's snowing in Ohio. Oh, no way. Yeah, these are. They're making like crates and barrels and other little cargo items. In case you're wondering. So we did our black, and now we are going to do wood colors. And I want to differentiate my crates from my boat. So here's one of the boats right here. So to get the crates to appear properly here on the boat, I'm going to want like a richer, more sort of reddish, kind of luscious brown, like more of a cedar brown. And that way the crates won't look like they're just made out of the boat. They'll look like little separate objects. So, pursuant to that goal, I'm going to get me some dark brown. Put it on my nasty paint plate here. And I'm going to mix in a smidge of old Georgia clay. There's some guy's main part of his career is naming colors, and he is an awesome person. Okay. You didn't in the live stream. Sorry, they're always nice to watch. You get good. Hey, thanks, man. Player elected XP. Amen. L.A. Jackson. Player elected XP is the king. So there's the Georgia clay right there. You mix that into your dark brown, and you'll get more like a nice, rich sort of cedar color. Yes, you want a nice rich cedar color. These sponges have all been treated like a village bicycle here. So I'm not too shy with my sponges. I just, yeah. All right, give me a stick. There we go. This is my mixing stick right here. Don't use your sponge to mix. That's unacceptable. All right. So I just get a little bit, wipe most of it off. There you go. A little paint right there. And let's do this little treasure chest first. And in we go. No need to be shy. So now the idea of using a sponge rather than a brush is that it doesn't go into the cracks. It's also why you want your paint to be not watery at all when you're doing this step. Because you don't want the paint to find its way into any recesses. And this will give you natural, almost graphic kind of look. Like little toys. There you go. So that's the first color on that little dude. So it's just that easy. Alright, and then we're just going to do that exact same thing on all pieces. And then we'll go back and we'll do a second color that will be much lighter, and we'll use a brush. And we will dry brush it. It would be beautiful. And we will tell our friends we were doing some dry brushing because it makes you sound cool. Like you know something that others don't, even though they totally know what dry brushing is. Alright. You got to just watch where you put your fingers too, because you can really smudge some of your sponge work. Like the sponge work is best when it only touches the thing once. Maybe twice. And you get a little bit of that magic texture that a sponge has. You just don't need much paint for this. Especially doing these teeny little guys, man. This is ridiculous. It's unacceptable. It's improbable. Unbelievable. All right. Yeah. I have a lot of shit on my table right now. But again, that's part of the unprepared stream concept. It's just like, man, this is reality right here. I've got a huge mess going. I have much more game to design, and I have more crafting to get done before I even clean the house. I mean, you got to have a clean bathroom and a good clean eating and playing space when your homies come over, right? So I still have all that work to do. Poor me. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. We're trucking through these. If I'm not showing you enough detail, I'm sorry. I'm also not sorry because I'm busy. I'm busy making the joy. So this one's fun. I experimented with doing little plank corner braces on this crate, so it kind of looks like a heavy crate, like something you'd keep like a monster or treasure inside of it. It's reinforced. So in case it falls into the ocean, they can retrieve it later. I don't know. That little dude. I'm excited to be transmitting in 1080p. That's kind of cool. I was looking at my live streams and I was just like, my God, how do you guys put up with this dismal quality? Have to go. Peace out, dude. Yep, and I figured, you know, people are going to have plenty to do on Saturday. They don't even know this stream is coming. Am I going to... It's fine. I'm not in it for the glory. If there is any. I'm just here being my own self. I'm just being my own dang self. And my name is Waylon Jennings. All right. Ooh, that's cool. So that's the border to my hatch, which is going to lead below decks. It totally doesn't lead below decks. It leads to a piece of wood that's painted black. All right. There we go. If you're doing a hatch, leave the underside black for effect. It makes for a nice shadow. Good there. You got to do what I say. Okay, that is the burnt sienna stage is all done. Looks like my barrels are still not dry. And I've got my reactor, which is just about plenty dry to keep working. So we'll move back to the reactor. You guys think I'm crazy, but I store my paint plate right on top of my books. All right. So, reactor. Need foam. All right. Okay, let's see if we can get even tighter here. Here, I'm going to give you Zacto. Where do you... I get the blue construction grade foam, 2-inch thick. I get it in 8-foot sheets at Lowe's. You want the high density extruded polystyrene because it's awesome. It's basically crumble proof. You can cut it with a scroll saw or with a Zacto knife. And it is this right here. Okay, and we got a close-up. Okay, so what am I making right now? I'm making a reactor. What do reactors have to do with Dungeons & Dragons? Well, I'm making these space-traveling ships, commonly known as spelljammers. So we'll just kind of bring that into there so you can kind of feel what I'm working on. So I want to do a variety of engine possibilities. So you kind of have like a smoke engine, like a coal engine. You have, you know, sort of magic power, and then you have like this reactor thing. So I've got a tea light here, and boop, there it is. So I'm going to continue to cloud this over with glue, but what should I do next? I actually think I need a little more diffusion on the bulb. So that just means doing this. And when glue gun glue dries, it dries kind of a milky color, so it will diffuse that light, give it more of a glow rather than a pin light. And in the meantime, I'm going to make the pieces I need to finish the reactor. So I'm going to mine some foam out. So I'm always talking about quarrying styrene, because it's a lot like mining. I just start with a huge block and I'll quarry out a little piece. And for bigger projects, you know, you want to use your scroll saw to do the quarrying, or a sentoku knife, a sushi knife. Okay, there you go. So it's quarried out a little block, just like that. Now, what the heck are you going to do with that, you may wonder? First, get a clean edge on it. Okay. And, you know, I have a little bit of a rough idea of what I want to do in my head, but honestly, I kind of make shit up as I go, like most people in life. I use the buck knife for bigger, longer cuts to make sure you get a perfectly flat kind of cut. And then I want to make 2 of these, so I'm going to cut it right down the center on its ventral axis. There we go. Now I'm going to cut out the inside. Part of what led to today's mystery surprise stream is I was writing on the second book, the Runehammer novel series, this morning. And super fun dwarven battle scene, and it just kind of got me, nerding out. And I know everybody likes to call things geek nowadays. It's some kind of new hip name for that, but I'm not into that. I'm a nerd. I'm not a geek. I'm a good old-fashioned establishment fighting nerd. I'm a kid who liked reading The Scarlet Letter. Like, that's a nerd. All right, so here we go. These are just little sort of roll bar things. So I honestly don't know what the hell they are. But I know that my little reactor needs them to look right. And you guys know me. I'm sure there's a ton of cool little scavengy parts and pieces that you could use to make this instead of cutting it all out of delicate styrene. You know, like Scotty does a lot of salvage to make a lot of his little parts. He'll use beads and little craft bits and pieces of toys and things like that. I love all that stuff. It just isn't how I do things. I like making every little thing out of styrene just because it gives it this funny kind of little Warcrafty kind of look. But I thought this video might be fun too because you might get an idea of how much work actually goes into all this. Okay, so these came out a little wide. So instead of crying and quitting, I'm going to cut out a section and then rejoin them. Because you only fail when you quit, right? Boop, just like that. And we'll let that dry for just a second. Hopefully I will not glue it to the cardboard, but no promises. And then this one, I think just needs to be a lot lower. And I think the edges are kind of like this. So again, I hate measuring. So I just try to use spatial awareness and make it happen. Spatial awareness. No. Now this will bite me in the butt a little bit later, but I'm going to go ahead and build the entire reactor before painting it. Sometimes you want to do some paint stages and stuff, but I have no time. I got so much to do today. Oh my god. It's so hard to be me. Here we go. It kind of looks like a little telephone, honestly. There we go. There's my little reactor. Okay, here's the little piece I repaired earlier. The glue is fine now. And that is going to be on what kind of angle there? Again, I hate measuring. So instead, I eyeball it. Think with my carpenter brain, which is tiny to say the least. And then, boop. You're like, dude, are you making some kind of a battle phone? What is that? Basically, yes. This is a battle phone. What's going on? I haven't looked over in quite a while. I'm yelling into the microphone. That's cool. There's 38 people in here. I'm just kicking it. I guess that was the experiment. It's just like, can we just kick it instead of me having to like schedule all this shit and build my life around YouTube? Yeah, I don't mean to sound negative, but it can get tiring. Especially at my age. When you're my age, you're afraid of things like dubstep. Alright, so now I'm just doing some little like Tesla bits. So I'm just going to do like little posts with kind of caps on them. I don't really know how to describe where these shape ideas come from, because I just know what I have to make. I get a lot of questions from people asking asking me like, where do you get all this stuff? How do you know what you're doing? I have no idea. The good Lord blessed me with a combination of ADD and OCD. Put me on this earth to tell stories, and stories require details. There we go, cool. So here's the little Tesla pieces. Dados. Oportunidad de ganar. So these pieces are kind of like the little helmet spires on a Gundam. Los dados. Yeah, there we go. See, it's like wah, 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 wah. Empowering a spaceship. Wah, 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 wah. Now I need one little crossbeam. I'm gonna hate myself for doing it later, because of the paint requirements. But I gotta have that crossbeam. It just makes sense. Oh, careful. A little short on glue there. Boo! All right. Come on, get a grip there, buddy. You're styrofoam. I don't want to put up with you. All right. You don't have needs like I do. And wants. I want high level players with a distinct sense of right and wrong. You're polystyrene. All you want is to continue to be polystyrene. Do all things have an innate desire to be what they are? Don't get all Kierkegaard on it now. All right, here we go with the crossbeam. Whoop, got it. Okay. Get that off. Always with the excess glue. It's always bulging out of places you don't want to bulge it out. Kind of like a gymnast. All right. There is my little reactor. I don't know if I'm fully satisfied, so what do I need out of this thing? Actually, no, that's kind of cool. I think it's this open front is just like sort of whack. You're sort of whack, man. Good Nibor, bro. All right. So I'm just making a little, I don't know, nose, a bumper. I don't know what you call it. But they're kind of like making little Legos and little 3D model pieces, you know. It's just, you just make the little mechanical components you need, and life goes on. Now, finally, do I have hosing? Hosing. Are those the monkeys from Warcraft? The hosing monkeys? Those monkeys are hosing, dude. I don't think I have any of that shit. I am out of hosing. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I see none. So, maybe I can do something with this. Nah, it's too sci-fi. I think I'm good to go. So there is my little reactor. It's kind of like a little Gundam helmet or something. I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing. Basically just meant to look like an odd piece of elemental technology. I think I accomplished that part. So we're going to have to black this one out. And by the time we're done blacking, a sturdy blacking, then we should be ready to dry brush the crates. Looks like my black got used. A wee bit more black. There she be. Okay, now this one I got to be a little more careful because I do not want to paint the glowy parts black. I mean, some of them can be, you know, but not above the light. Also, a few pieces of this are a little more delicate than I would prefer, but hey. Obladi, oblada. Life goes on, brother, oh baby, life goes on. Now I'm getting paranoid about the delicacy and the glowing parts. So instead of moving on in a paranoid lifestyle, I'm going to use a brush. Greetings, programs! Hi, everybody! Sometimes you just gotta get intimate. Ain't that the truth? Alright. Just doing the black paint here on this guy. My elemental reactor. Now, if you're inspired like I was by Blackmagic's Longship, you might be setting out on a similar creative journey. I discovered that there's just a lot of hidden detail that I assumed in my head I would get with a boat. And it wound up taking me 2 weeks. You know, like, I haven't even done the sails yet, but you can't have a boat without XYZ, right? That's what kind of went through my head. I've got to have blurb, and I've got, you know, I have to have crates and barrels. I got to have rope. I got to have an anchor. I got to have a harpoon. I need a little captain's wheel. And it's just like that list of I gotta have, it just keeps going. I gotta have a hatch to below decks. Gotta have a poop deck. Okay, doing good on avoiding the glowy bits here. This thing is honestly a little difficult to paint because I made it. I just got too excited with the glue stage. That'll happen. Gluing is so fun. Okay, there we go. Looking Gouda cheese. Looking like a nice smoked Gouda. Okay, just trying to get in the nooks and crannies right now. That's what's taking so stinking long. Glaciers are calving while I'm doing this. All right. I think that's about it for that step. There we go. Elemental reactor dry. Okay, so that is going to dry. I'm going to clean up a bit here. And then we're going to make our light brown for dry brushing ye old crates and ye old hatch. The barrels, it looks like, are still drying, still a little wet on the black barrels. And the lumber pile. Lumber pile is pretty dry. So before I move on in color, I always want to do most of a color first. So I'm going to paint my lumber pile real quick. Hey, what's going on, Coop? I think the dogs might have to, I don't know, they have to poop and pee like every 20 minutes, I swear to God. I wish I could do that. I'd probably weigh like 140 pounds. And that would be bad. Because then big people would beat me. Alright, I need to get into a cranny here. And that means tiny brush time. So I have this tiny brush that has blue on it, but that doesn't matter. Whoop, there you go. Some crannies, even wet paint won't go in there. I don't know why. It makes no sense. There we go. There's nothing I hate worse than like seeing a cranny inside a painted piece where you can tell the paint didn't reach in there. That bugs me. Okay, burnt sienna is done on the lumber pile. Highlights. Don't worry, I'm getting there, dude. Give me time. Okay. Now this is where things get really fun. This is dry brushing. And I want the right size dry brush. Ugh. The right size means not huge and not small. There you go. This will do. So dry brushing is very simple. You basically get as little paint as possible on your brush and just kind of across your surface. So I'm going to use this color here. This is Territorial Beige. For those following along at home. Okay, just a teeny bit left of that. I'm going to chuck the bottle. It's done. All right, and then ye old latte. I love this color. Ooh, speaking of latte, I bet my coffee's hot. That's going to be awesome, dude. Okay, one way that I accelerate dry brushing is once you have your color, which is this latte color, first time around I'll just paint it onto my paper towel. Do a little test on your finger. If you can see your fingerprint and the dark parts of your finger, because they have black paint on them, stay dark, then you're dry brushing. So you want to get all the paint out of that thing. You want barely any paint. There we go. That's more like it. Then when you're ready, get your brush nice and sort of frazzled like that. And you're ready to go. So let's do this little guy first. So I'm not sure if you can see, but that's it. That's the magic. It's always fun because you get to see all this little stuff pop out. Where's my... So you just want the tiniest bit of paint when you... Yeah, so you see all these fun little details emerge. It's so great. Then I will sometimes go back with a hair more paint and I will do little edges like that. You see that? And that way you get like a nice hot highlight on one edge. Kind of looks like the light is kind of catching in a couple spots. Like, yeah. Then on my wire drying thingy and on to the next one. Work the paint off. Don't touch that black. That is a danger zone. So, see how... Can this thing even focus at this distance? So hang on. Let me let the lag catch up. I can see if this is going to focus for you. Yeah, not bad, huh? And yes, chatters, I am working on Spelljammer. Or at least my crazy bastard version of Spelljammer. Anytime you got a flying ship, I would qualify that as Spelljammer. So not doing any kind of black magic here. Ooh, no pun intended. Sorry, Pilly Pow. You know, nothing secret, nothing crazy. This is just really basic, simple dry brush. And you know, my paint honestly should be drier for what I'm doing. My brown layer, but I don't have time. Okay, onto the drying rack. Next. So if you go to do like that first highlight and you just get a lot of paint, stay calm, use it up on your edges, wait to do your full surfaces until you've got less paint on your brush. Because too much paint, it will permeate your details and you won't get the magic. The magic is the details don't get painted. That is the magic, my friends. One of many forms of magic extant in this world of ours. There we go. Okay. Yeah, these are looking great. All right. If I do say so myself. Self-critiquing, where you're always doing great. All right. There we go. So you can see as I start running low on paint on my brush, I can start brushing more freely. But you want to be really careful there at those first few strokes because you'll have a lot of paint. And you can lose control. There we go. Ooh, that one came out great. If I do say so myself. Here's the little hatch top. So to get my metal handle that I glued on to be metal, all I do is rub off the paint. That's the magic of using those little metal wires. That way you don't have to go through the whole step of painting metal things, metal colors. God forbid you should have to do that. Oh my Lord. Okay. Get those edges first with the most paint and then go right across with just a little. And you can see like the wood grain pops out and everything gets all interesting. It's awesome. Onto the drying rack she goes. And we'll get to build that in just a second. So stay tuned because we're going to have an actual hinge on that, that hatch. Here's the wood reinforced crate. You know, I see a lot of crafters doing like a million of one thing. I don't know how they have the patience. I honestly, if I'm going to make crates, I don't just make a zillion of this exact same crate. I like to just wander around and screw off. I mean, it's Saturday, right? If you're doing wood too, you want to go with whatever your imagined grain is. That can help create fake detail. Implied detail is probably the proper term. It's not really fake. This is an actual physical object. There we go. Ooh, that's nice. Little planks. Catching that wood grain of that dry brush. There we go. Onto the drying rack. Just a few to go. Hey Hank, you ever play Xbox? Yeah, I try. I played Division last weekend. That game is freaking horrible. It's just too real, and like their combat design is just boring, man. Shooters have come a long way. You can't just do parking lots with cover and then 40 guys run at you and you shoot them with an AR-15. It's just boring. The fidelity was cool, but the age of fidelity being impressive is only still alive and well on Oculus, I would say. But I was playing Chronos throughout the week, and that game is amazing. Really fun. Really basic, old school run around RPG. This reminded me of Oddworld in some ways, but the fact that it's an Oculus just completely changes the game, makes it really fun. Still doing dry brushing. Oh my God, it never ends. Nice. The wood grain really popped on this one. Look at that wood grain. That's awesome. Fun. Totally looks like a cedar chest. All right. And finally the wood pile. Now if you're dry brushing and you just did some paint, get your paper towel or whatever and just get some of that excess off, or just your dry brush will just eat up the wrong color. And it's going to wreck your day. Now I got a loosey goose here. Looks like I need to do some glue work. Don't be shy with the glue. Boom. Okay, let that dry for just a second. I tried to play Neverwinter, Kevin. I think it's a dismal fantasy RPG. Good lord. Just like I came up on that beach as the dwarf or whatever, and I was just like, wow, this is beyond derivative. Also, their graphics, their artwork is just not up to par. If I like make my dwarf, and already I don't like his armor and stuff, and I'm just like, what? That kind of looks stupid. I'll never last in the game. Okay, here we go. Here's our lumber pile. I'm gonna dry brush this bad boy. Gonna dry brush this bad boy right here. There's that one little pot of wet paint there, so I'm just going to avoid that so it doesn't taint my dry brush. Taint nothing but a dry brush. There we go. Hold on. Totally looks like wood, man. It totally looks like wood. Okay, let's see if ye old barrels are ready for cedar color, or for sienna, I suppose. Here are my barrels. And if I was professional, I would say no, I see little wet spots, but I'm not. I'm doing this pro bono. So I'm gonna, where's my sponge? So I still have my sienna sponge, so I'm gonna use that on my barrels. Anybody still hanging around? Hey guys. Okay, let's just do these. If I get a little bit of black into my sienna sponge, I'm not going to, I'm not going to litigate. There we go. No problem. Everything's going to work out, man. Some good Nibor, bro. Okay, and, if you want to rub the paint off of your metal strip right away, you can, or let it dry so you don't do too much smudgery. That's what I'm going to do. Now, one thing that I think about a lot as I'm sitting here and it's Saturday and I'm using my Saturday to prep for my D&D group is like, does this crafting actually add to the game? Is it really worth the time and effort? Is like the game going to be saved by some little barrels? Definitely not. There are plenty of shortcuts to say, like, there's cargo over there. Like the 3x5 card thing. Or whatever. But it's not just about amping the game. And this is also just a nice way to decompress from the work week. At my age, they need things to keep us from trying to escape the asylum. Okay, there we go. A little bit more sienna on top of that guy. There we go. And we're going to call those good and let them dry. That should be the end of sienna, so I don't have to worry about sienna anymore. Dear Sienna, I've never been the same since Portugal. I look forward to seeing you at the monkey station. All right. Woo! That is about all, except for dry brushing the barrels and doing the paint on my reactor, which is totally still drying. But reactor preview shot. There you go. Might even paint that green or something inside there so it looks some kind of necrotic necro engine. Okay, that's about it. Now, as I mentioned before, I am psycho, so I keep my paint plate on my books. Oh, and that's why it's a bad idea. I think a brush just fell on the carpet, but I put this carpet in here with the intent of ruining it. And yes, I hang my glue gun on the wall. Okay, so now just a little bit of quick cleanup because the real business has to get done. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, I never made the sails or the flags. God, my work is never complete, I swear. So I need 3 flags, 2 red, 1 cream colored. Do I even have... Whoops. Well, that's not good. Do I... Where's my little... Where's my little floppy shit? I don't know where my floppy stuff went. Oh, that's alright. That everything's glued to everything else. You ever get that? You just like have all these little tidbits and they're all glued to each other. You know, I'm gonna need these. Fuckhead idiot. Isotope fun. Shut up. Lloyd Taylor. What is your problem? I don't know how to use this computer. Oh, hey, Arnie TW. What's up, dude? I don't know who Lloyd Taylor is. I don't care. Moving on. I don't think I'm going to do the flags and the sails because I don't know where the material is. So I need to find the material. Oh, look at these. Hee hee. Little pile of cannonballs. Alright, so yeah, we'll move on to the real business. So I'm going to have to clean up first. Just a wee bit of clean up here. Put away your tools. Because they're stute. You've got stute tools. My ballpoint pen, got my planks. Now you kids out there, do not clean your workspace like I do. Because what I do is I just take all this crap and I just kind of... There we go. Out of sight, out of mind. Clean that up later. Alright, just put that on the floor, or maybe some of it goes in the trash, who cares? I'm a grown-up. I can make a mess if I want. Alright, a grown-up in quotes. And now, here we are with this. A terry cloth and stretching. A badass DM is always looking for more crap. Grab a roll of TP. Your sales are done. You mean the cardboard? I thought I had one. No, I have specific stuff that I want to use for the sails and for the flags. It's the stuff I used on my Elvish banners. Okay. Pure adrenaline. All right, check it out in HD. By the way, are you guys psyched or what? Look at the quality of my stream. It's so much freaking better. I got bitrate encoder so I can live HD now. Amen to that. Soak them in tea for extra color. I'm just sitting here right now if you're wondering what the hell's happening. Just bloody sitting here. Okay, now I don't know if I can see too well. So let's see if that's visible. Now I have like a 5 to 10 second lag to keep my bitrate high. So I have to, if you're wondering why it's taking me so damn long to adjust the camera. So now I'm trying to get in a little closer. I got this camera kind of breathing down my neck here. Cameras don't breathe or feel pain. Now, you guys have asked for this quite a bit, so let's just take a little time to take a look at it. And I can show you sort of a little bit of what I'm working on. Need to finish for tonight. Get rid of that. You know, cleanliness is next to godliness when it comes to a camera frame. Okay, I think that's pretty good. An angle would be even cooler, right? Hang on. Just hold on, Grandpa. Hold on. Hold on a little longer, Grandpa. So I'm going to do a little flipping first, and then we can... I'm just going to do some light flipping. I don't know what that means. There's no room. Here we go. There, now you're talking. Now that's monkey camera right there. Okay, so what you're looking at, in case you're wondering what the hell am I wasting all this time on, what are we doing, is this is my second DMs book. So you guys saw that horribly blurry first book video that I did, which chronicled the leather-bound DMs journal that I did, which was all the way from Burning Wheel about a year and a half ago, I don't know, through last summer or so with my 5th edition group. This is my second journal. So the illustration that you're seeing was basically when my heroes are returning to sort of the ancestral home, and they went back and the ground has been all sundered and that kind of, normal stuff. So I basically just wanted to show you guys sort of how I've been thinking on this second journal in this most recent play period. So I knew that I wanted to do a mind flare at some point, as many DMs do. I knew it was going to come into the story. So just when I was sitting there kind of thinking up the campaign, I just kind of drew one. Not very good perspective there. And then this was, I think this is where we were at Ren Fair. So I was sitting in camp in the morning, like while we were making breakfast at Renaissance Festival, and I drew these 9 map designs, room designs, which use one playboard as their space. And I was kind of just thinking up what would be some fun encounters to try, like a narrow walkway, a log over a river, a fortress where there's only one way out or one way in and one way out, and then a three corridor choice thing. And a lot of these room designs were played on the board. A couple of them found their way into the fortress and so on and so forth. And there's just like some random poetry over there. Oh yeah, and here's where I was just sitting drawing. And so we had this like Viking yurt next to us at Renaissance Fair, and I just kind of took a half an hour sitting there sipping my coffee to draw the whole scene. And we had all these tents of all these people camping by the woods. It was really fun. Okay, so then this was outside of Lork. We're going to do this sort of attack on the enemy army. And they had a big ogre that they had enslaved to pull their battle wagon. And he wound up being a kind of a lovable character who got blown up. So it was a fun way to make the characters kind of feel crappy, because he was a bad guy, but he was a slave to the bad guys. It wasn't really his fault. And then he hit this huge explosive that they had planted, and he blew up. So there's a big moment where his chains were broken, and he's like, "Grit free, run!" It was just that was a crazy night. Then here's just, every DM does these. These are my hit point scratch sheets. A couple of key little notes of like what happened that night and things that I wanted to bring into the story later. Okay, now we're getting into when I was designing a set of encounters called Swordfall, which is when we did this twin dragon encounter, which is 2 dragons that teleport in and out, and it reveals that they're actually twins. So you have 2 dragons to deal with. So I was just kind of coming up with some of the notes there. And then here's the details on what the board would look like to fight the dragon, and exactly what kind of a sort of a AI kind of flowchart for his abilities. So I basically made him like a sort of 6th, 7th level warlock crossed with a gold dragon, and I just would say, fog, fight, fight, fly, fight, fight, fog, confuse. And that way I don't have to figure it all out during the encounter. I just know what he's going to do, so I don't have to come up with it all. Here we have Swordfall, which is an underground place where this gigantic sword from this war of the Titans fell and stuck in this big rock. And this is where they kind of pursue the surviving dragon from the previous encounter to try to kill it in its lair, and it's filled with these metal-eating maggots and stuff. Normal D&D things. So they got through that, and then they were heading on to the tower. And the tower is, you guys have seen some of my videos about the tower probably, but this was my, this dungeon had 42 total rooms. Really big dungeon with time travel and all kinds of crazy stuff. And this is where I first started designing it. It was mainly inspired by Dracula's castle. And then we went through this great, almost like haunted house-like sequence, which was all the rooms had different reveals of the horrible fates that had befallen our cleric's family and how they had become all these abominations. Some of them were half spiders, and one of them was a vampire who actually was one of the most dangerous. And there's this tentacled thing that was coming up through the floor in the tower that had, tainted their family with evil, and it was just all this craziness. So as I was working through all that craziness, I started, the first thing I knew I wanted to write down was the family members of Florian and what had happened to them. And this sort of phantasmagoria, this gallery of terrors, and what they all were. And then I started working into drawing them, so I had a sense of what to describe, and drawing the rooms that they would be encountered in. This is no fun. This is just lots of notes, figuring out how to do this. This is sort of just doodling in my mind while I was making a list of things. I think this is actually one of the sheets where I was designing the Daring and the Doomed. If you guys remember the Dungeon World 2 video I did, this is my research page for that. So I was just internalizing my research on Dungeon World. And then we're back to this. So this is notes on Dungeon World, but back to the tower and the family members and the Book of Seven Doors and all this stuff that happened. And just, you know how D&D campaigns are. There's just tons of stuff happening. So I can't describe every detail to you. So then this is getting into more of the detail after one of the sessions. And that's, when I write more sloppy like this, that usually means I'm taking notes from a player or something that happened or something I wanted to do a reveal or something big that's going to happen or whatever. And then I usually will doodle, not so much that I have cool art, but so that I can do good descriptions when the time comes. And this just goes to show how nonlinear my brain is, but this is the final stat sheet on Dura the Deadly, who is the dragon from 6 pages earlier. So sometimes I just jump around in the book. And then here's another scratch sheet. Wow, and then this is where it really started, we're getting deep into it. So this was arriving at the tower, this sort of principle that I use called the whole truth, where you basically just say, what really happened, like all the details that the DM knows, so that if people are asking questions or doing impromptu investigations during the adventure, you always have the answers. So I always like to write down, what happened? What really happened? What's the full story? So then moving on, this is the 3 segments of the tower, and you can see they each have between 7 and 12 rooms or something like that, including the corridors. So what I did was I got those all laid out and then just numbered the rooms and then just gave all the rooms names. And this way, as I design them, I can just use the room to continually revisit what my high concept is. Because, man, you do a dungeon this big, you're just going to lose yourself. So, some of the room names are, the Hovel of Haddock Frack, where Jensen killed the children, Enoch's Rest, Ghosts Trapped in Ancient Glass, The Crumbling Bridge, Open to the Wind, Seat of the Red Splinter, stuff like that. So they're descriptive names so that, as you're working it out, you can always go back to the name as a sort of creative route. This is silly, so it's just more details. These are more NPCs. Another one of the family members kind of turned into a half bug thing. A little road encounter that they had. Here's actually one of the final design sheets for Daring and Doomed when I was finishing up the playtesting and stuff. That's crazy. Okay, so now back to Tower Evermoon. So this is the tower level, so that's why they're all the circles. These are slices out of a tower as you go up. And this is about the amount of notes that I'll do on a room, is, you know, maybe 5 to 6 lines. And the rest of it is, you know, stored elsewhere. And then you can see where I've improvised. Like, I have my hit point scratch sheets are built right into my poor book. Because I'm awful that way. Here's the court level of the tower. So another, what is this, 8 rooms or so, each with its own little kind of micro description. So since, you know, some of these take half hour to an hour to play, you know, I'll be just working on this little section with my group for quite a while. So it's a manageable amount of thing. But there's some fun stuff in here. There's some fun pinches, and the gem lock room is in here. There was a great room with a crumbling corner where all the spiders were pouring out and stuff. It was really fun. Okay, then the pit is below the tower, and that's these rooms. And this had like a lake with a bunch of chul that were growing eggs. It had this decayed old book room with a minotaur in it that was running around ruining all the books. And of course the pit of Salag, where my characters like space warped and shattered their planet with this like teleport beam. Shit got crazy. So as I was planning, I had this mechanic called the Gloom, which would move characters forward and back in time whenever their despair overwhelmed them. And I needed to figure out all the mechanics and the details of how the Gloom worked so that I was consistent with it. And then I think this is me just being bored one day. It had taken way too long to do one drawing, but this is like a chul. So the mechanic was the only way to get through these rubble barriers is that chuls can eat their way through. And so I would have them kite the chul over to the rubble, and they would eat their way through and clear the corridor. Okay, next, this is the door of Salag. So it's a close-up on the room of like how this prismatic chair kind of device is used to open this portal. Classic scene of like the tentacled beast is coming through the portal, so you got to stop it. Really tropey old stuff. And then just exactly all the powers that Salag had. He's the like the great elder god that's coming through, and he's got terrible powers. Everything's doing 3d10 damage, and usually does grapple. He has mauve razors and a bunch of stuff that has high saves to get terrified and stuff like that. Okay, then this was moving into the next stage, and also did a splinter group of different players for a while in a campaign called Mines of Silence and Salt, and this was getting those notes worked out. So I have this little mine with a collapsed bridge and, I don't know, crazy stuff. Screaming orcs. You know, I'm just not a fan of orcs, though. They just don't wind up in my adventures. This is more of Silence and Salt. I had a carrion crab, which is from Eberron, which is this giant crab that's covered with armor and shields and swords. So I started my characters with no gear, and then faced them with this carrion crab, which is covered with semi-ruined gear. So if they had the courage, they could go and pluck maybe a spare sword or something off it. They wound up running for their lives, so that was kind of funny. More on the Silence and Salt campaign, and working a little more on Dungeon World and some other things. This is a fun sheet. This is just a bunch of sworn curses, quirks of skeletons, and orc names. Just so I had that. You know, a lot of DMs talk about how important it is to have names and stuff like that. And then another hit point scratch. This is Daring and Doomed, kind of thinking about moving Daring and Doomed into an RPG next year. That might be kind of cool, but just designing it. Oh, and then this one. This is great. Project Thunder. So this is a little bit of business work on Runehammer. This is make sure the book came out. And then working on a little new side adventure called Tunnels of Terror. Some more hit point scratching. Some little building ideas that I was going to craft. I haven't gotten around to that quite yet. There's the top secret Mokhtar RPG research page. So again, just notes, not too exciting. And then more Mokhtar, and then getting into an actual night where we were doing an adventure in Mokhtar and exactly the flow chart of the sort of routes that the players could take. You know, I like to give them choices, but only a couple choices. And then the room designs for those nights. And those came together well. And then started to move toward this sort of ship thinking and like, hey, man, we should get into some spell jamming and what kind of ships do I like and sort of what would be a fun way to design them. Just more thinking on Mokhtar, kind of some other stuff. You know how it goes. Everybody likes to draw the races. And then I was like, actually, I want them to be shorter, so I drew them upside down with their more proper proportions. Oh, and then here's where we are right now in 5th edition. this is tonight actually. So we did this half of this rectangle last time, and tonight we're going to do this little half and this supplemental room tonight. So you have caught up to where I am right now. This is a wider view of what they're doing. The notes to make it all happen. There's some frost giant stuff. There's some traps. But that's about it. That's what I need to finish creating tonight. So here's more hit point scratch. And then this is my other group. So this is an adventure I did with them. So you see I need to go back to do tonight because I'm kind of ahead of that. This is more work. This is some stuff from work that I'm working on over at Carbon. And more of that. Writing stories. And then this is just some story bits that I'm working on. And boom! You're up to the present. So tonight is right here. So the last two things I wanted to figure out for tonight were like how I'm going to do ships in an intelligent, fun way. And I need to finish up some of the mechanics in the ice rooms. Exactly how they're going to sort of get to town and spend money in a way that isn't boring. And so on and so forth. But I am not going to stream that process because I'm going to take my book over to the tap room like I always do and get some peace and quiet so that I can focus in and do that work. Okay, last thing I want to show you guys before we go. Why that thing looking right at me? Stop that. Okay. Is this little guy. So if you remember from earlier, this is my little hatch to below decks. So to finish it up, I want to put the hinge in. And here's how I'm going to do it. So this is a skewer. Just need a piece of it. And then I'm actually going to, you know, these bamboo skewers are prone to splitting. Now most of the time when they split, you're cursing the day you were born, but this time I'm doing it on purpose. There it is. So see, you just make a nice little razor sharp shard of bamboo. And then you can refine it even further. Like that. There we go. Okay, there's my little, I don't know if you can even see what the hell I'm doing. All you can see is my Ren Fair hairdo that I'm trying to grow out. Okay. Alright, so then you take your little hatch, and I have already perforated a hole in the hatch, if you can see that. And then you kind of just go for it. So I'm putting my piece of bamboo through the side, then through the little door, and I missed it a little bit, so I'm going to go right there. Trust me, it will work. I actually have no idea if it'll work. Okay. I'm going to push it through a little too far so it disappears. Then on the far side, nip it off, push it back in and touch, and there you go. There's my semi-working, so it's a little tight, so I might want to... Yeah, there you go. Look at that. I got a little bit of loosey-goosey corner there. But, can you see that? Look at that little guy. There you go. So it's my little hatch to below decks. It's kind of cool. That is it, my friends. It is 12:30. I have been on here too long, yammering and wasting your time. 47 people hanging out. That's kind of cool. Look at these. These are cool, man. These came out fine. So let's bring it in for the big finale here. This is the bad guy ship. So you got lizard men. And a Duragar running the engine. Ooh, careful. Jeez. All right. So now here's how my cargo is going to look. Look at that. That's cool, man. My little cargo. It's not as red as I kind of wanted it to be. I think my dry brushing May have spoiled some of my color intentions. Look at that. Cargo. I have a chest here. And this stack of lumber for repairing the ship. And then I think this battery's almost dead, but yeah, almost dead is an overstatement. I think it's toast. Understatement? Overstatement? So I still got to do the sail and the flags, but there you go. That is cargo. The barrels are not done, so you're not going to get to see that. Here's the hatch to below decks. And there's your little boat, my friends. Okay, hey, it's been great hanging out. It is Saturday morning and whatever. Tons of fun for the other. Hey, thanks, Cedric. Appreciate that. We're going to play tonight, and I'll let you know how it goes. That's about all I got for today. So I'm going to do my chores. I got a lot of chores to do to get ready for the friends to come over. And I'm going to kick it. Why not fix the mast? Huh? What's wrong with it? This mask is perfectly fine. See you on Tuesday. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Doing the same thing on the same night of every week is not fun. So news flash on that one. It starts feeling like a job. And I did not set out on the Drunkens and Dragons journey to do the same thing all the time. So I think we're just going to do whatever the fuck whenever. Thanks for watching, guys. Drunkens and Dragons. See you out there. Go watch The Keep with, what's his name? You know, Duke Atreides. What's that guy's name? I love that guy. Damn. Jorgensen? Svens Jorgensen? Oh, Jürgen Prochnow. All right. Strength, honor, beer, and living to the fullest on Saturday. All right. I'll see you guys around. I don't even know how to stop this thing, so if I click for a moment...